Welcome to Fire Engineering's Training Minutes. I'm David Rhodes and I'm here with Dean Patrick from Spec Rescue. We're here at the Guardian Center's Flood Village. Today we're going to be looking at a rescue scenario where we actually have to cut through the roof to get a victim out of the attic and then remove another victim from another house. All right, so we're ready to launch our boat, Dean. Let's talk them through it.
Okay, what we want to make sure is that we're launching the boat into contaminated waters. So we don't want our rescuers to get wet. The only one that can do that is the guy that's got the dry suit on, and he's protected against the contaminants. So they'll get the boat back far enough that it'll support the operator. The operator will get in the boat, and as soon as he can, get all the way to the back. Once he gets in there and we move the boat back just a little bit more, we can get the second guy in there, and he moves to the back because we want all the weight in the back so that we're not dragging weight across the asphalt in the front. Once we get him there, then Dave, we can wind up getting the other people in the boat.
All right, we're going to take a fire department ladder this time because during the recon they did find somebody that was in the attic. All right, now they've taken a number of items with them. They've got a chainsaw, they've got the fire department ladder, they've got throw bags, again the same stuff. If they see anybody in the water they can get access. They got extra flotation devices. So now they're just going to work their way out to the house that showed signs that somebody was in.
Somebody in the attic out there, so that's why they're carrying their ladder, so they can access that. And they also have a chainsaw and an axe so they can make a cut and so whatever they need to do. They're pretty well prepared, and that boat right there will hold over 2,000 pounds, so they're in good shape right there. Again, your guy in the front is his second set of eyes, and he's really looking for obstacles to make sure we don't damage that boat, giving a good clear path of travel to put us exactly where we want. The operator in the back, he's responsible for the boat, and he listens to that guy's directions. As you can see, they're doing some maneuvering around some underwater obstacles there as they're paying attention to that. Here's where teamwork really pays off, David, because they have to maintain stability of that boat at the same time they're trying to access the victim.
And he's going around to that side of the house because we do have a little bit of a wind coming across, and so that helps him stay stable.
Takes him out of the current and the drift there, and it gives them an access to where they're working there. They're communicating now.
All right, so he's communicated with the victim and told them what they're going to do, so when they start hearing noise, they'll realize what's going on.
Right.
All right, so he's kind of butting the ladder from the roof there so he can get another guy up with equipment.
Right. Gonna work up there with the chainsaw, and the operator still maintains the security of the boat, keeps that boat secured to the house down there, and they're going to work together as a team on that roof.
Really a simple operation if there's no water, but we add the water element and the balance is totally different.
Everything's different, entirely different environment there, buddy. Checking for where his trusses are so he can find the area that cut, and so he can locate his trusses and then cut in between.
Most of your residential roofs on these new construction are pretty much going to be OSB.
OSB and shingles looks like what we got right there to what a typical composite roof, and the guys, firefighters like that, are pretty familiar with that for ventilation. So.
Right. And we got to remember, we're not cutting a ventilation hole, so we're not having to cut a big 4x4 hole. We're just cutting just enough that we can get somebody out of that roof.
So he's used the axe and determined where the truss is, and he's going to be cutting to the side of the truss. He'll cut him a panel out of that.
There were a lot of lessons learned on this particular operation at Katrina, and so now where guys used to just go out with a boat looking for folks, now they're taking a lot of hand tools and
they're realizing that once they get there, they've still got the job we got to get done, and they got to go prepared. To go find somebody and not be prepared to get them out is not very heartening for the rescuers or the person to be rescued. So go prepared and be ready to get the person out, and that's what they've worked to do here. So they've cut them a pretty good size hole, and it looks like that they missed their trusses, and they're in good shape there, got a good solid foundation to stand on. We see we're working a victim out of there now, and they get that victim up out of there, get him up on the roof, bringing him up out of the attic. You know, he's got to be happy that he's seeing daylight now and wondering when the waters would ever go down, right?
That's right.
First thing they do, David, is they put a PFD on him because they're in a water environment, so the only way they can ensure his safety is if they make sure they put a PFD on him and enhance his safety there.
So the guy was okay. He was in the attic, out of the water, but he was just trapped and couldn't go anywhere. So now we've taken him out. We've actually added a little bit of hazard to him because now he can fall off the roof.
Yeah. But we put the PFD on him, and if he does fall off the roof, we know we're not going to let him drown. But the biggest issue is we got to work with him to make sure that we get him back into a safe environment. This time we would consider our inflatable boat the only safe environment we got out there for him to work with.
And this guy could have been out there for days, so we really got to be careful on this transition to the ladder. We got to spot that ladder. We're going to send a rescuer down, and so he can spot him as he's coming down. He's probably going to be weak, dehydrated,
right?
Not have good decision-making abilities. So we're really going to have to coach him through every single step.
Yeah. Looks like a simple process, but it really takes a lot of thought process in this, making sure that that guy's victim. See, they're holding the boat stable. Both him and the operator are working to stabilize the boat. Get the victim in, make sure he sits down in a secure position, and then you're ready for the rescuers to then make sure that they get safe. This thing goes like we planned, and we do it right. Our rescuers are not in any contaminated environment, except the guy that has the dry suit, which we can decal on him, and the victim doesn't get contaminated either. So we get him out and get him back to a safe area.
All right, looks like our guy's in the boat, and we're going to be heading back to shore.
I believe unless they run into something that messes us up, I think that was a pretty good operation right there, and step by step is the right way to do it.
Forward, neutral.
All right, David, they're going back for a second victim. Last one, they got out of the attic and they had to do a roof cut, but this one, the victim, he's up on the attic and he's ready for somebody to come and get him, and so they're going back. They're still working in the teamwork concept, and we still got the guys that are capable of going and handling it in a safe manner. Don't get in a hurry. The minute that we get in a hurry, we wind up getting somebody hurt. So if we stay slow and methodical, we'll get it done and everybody will be safe.
We got a lot of hazards in the water over there near this house, so he's going to really have to communicate with the driver here.
Yeah, they're negotiating that right there. There's a lot of stuff there that they've got to get around.
Going to go around the street sign to the left.
While they're getting ready to set up, are there any other size Zodiac type inflatable boats that are used in the rescue industry, or is that pretty much the
most popular one right now is actually the Navy version, the 470, which is the 15-foot boats. Now they'll hold 3,000 pounds, David, and they'll take up to a 50 horsepower motor. A lot of people have acquired them through Navy surplus, and they're very popular. The smaller versions like this right here are also very maneuverable. Biggest problem we have with these boats is transporting them. You know, they fold up pretty compact, but it takes a while to put them together. So if you want to be ready, you pretty well got to have them inflated, and that takes up a lot of space. So generally, the water rescue operations are a separate unit of your regular fire department units that are ready to go, but they normally take a little extra transportation there for them to do that.
And if we've got a fire department out there that's not already in the water rescue business, we got to understand there's a lot more to it than just buying that initial equipment cash. There's going to be ongoing costs for training. There's going to be a lot of ongoing costs for maintenance. Those dry suits are very expensive to keep up to date, and just a ton of specialty equipment there.
Yeah, there's a lot of difference in river rescue, normal rescue that we see in those kind of recreational areas, and floodwaters. And when you get into floodwaters, you pretty well got to commit yourself to protecting your people, and a dry suit's an expensive item to do that with. First thing they're doing is they're putting a PFD on him to make sure, as they move him from one safe area that he's in now down close to the water, proximity to the water, they want to keep him safe. So if slips or falls, goes in the water, they're not going to worry about drowning. Of course, we don't want him to slip or fall because we don't want him contaminated either. Talk to him and once you get him in the boat, the most important thing is for him to sit down, get a low center of gravity so he doesn't affect the stability of the boat, and they still have maintained control of the boat. That's what that's why they're not moving. They're not moving until they get him in a position that they want him to be in.
Looks like they actually took the seat out and he's sitting on the floor of the boat too.
And that's the lowest point.
Right.
Put him the lowest place you can put him in that boat, the safer he is.
All right, we've seen a couple scenarios play out here today. We had to go out and get access and cut a hole in a roof to get a victim out of the attic. And then in this one, we had a victim that was visible waving his arms. And so we went out and we used a fire department ladder. We used a chainsaw, a lot of stuff that's typical. So we're about to wrap it up. I think the guys did a great job.
I did too. I think they really showed that if you take your time, everything works pretty well, David. It keeps our guys safe. That's what it's all about.
Thank you for watching Fire Engineering Training Minutes. I'm David Rhodes on behalf of Dean Patrick. Thank you for joining us here at the Guardian Center.